As we are getting into our grand finals and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player. The blue Zerg player himself representing Stouty Bulls. It is YoungYakov. Let's go. We're here, we are back, we are live, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series, on whether or not ByuN or YoungYakov will come out on top this week. Bearing in mind that ByuN was last week's champion, he is still coming as the favorite player, but Yakov, he did do well for himself making it this far in the tournament, and we'll see if he can come in with something spicy up his sleeve or come in better form. We have seen Yakov take it to ByuN in the past. We'll see if he can do it again. He's going to bring his A game though. True. Has to bring his best. As for now, it is going to be a pull first opener here by YoungYakov, going for a later expand. This feels like the go-to that we've been seeing from YoungYakov so far in the PTR. Even against Protoss players as well, we've been seeing just earlier pulls and slightly later expansions, and of course later gases as well. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a smaller map in the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored here on Ruby Rock, and we often do see Roach play as a result of that. Because the map is so small, because the rush distance is so short, going into Ling Bane can be very difficult and very intense, just because it's very larva intensive, and your opponent, it doesn't take long at all for the Terran player to get across the map and to reinforce from across the map as well. So often Roach play is considered safe and the meta and the go-to on a map like Ruby Rock. Think of maps like Ruby Rock, think of Tourmaline as well. Those are examples of maps that we just often see Roach heavy play. I mean, hey, there are some players nowadays that just go Roaches regardless of map as well. I'm looking at Shin, for example. I'm looking at Shin and Rogue as well. Like, we do often see a lot of Roach play. Even Solar has been embracing more Roaches as of late as well. Still varying it up his styles at least. It does vary. We'll see if YoungYakov is also a Roach boy. For now, Reaver does pick in. Pokes in, pulls away. 2 Zerglings going down. Very nice pickups here by ByuN. Catching out 2 Lings and pulling out. Behind this, ByuN did go for his own standard opener into zone 1-1. We've been seeing a lot of 1-1-1 builds here by ByuN in TvZ into a delayed third expansion. Would make sense to go for that again here on Ruby Rock as well. And we'll see if he goes into a 3-1-1 on 2 bases. Again, just 2 base heavy play has been the go-to from ByuN on the PTR specifically. Shell tools again. Oh, never mind. I was speaking a little about 2 base play, but no, this time 3rd CC. Economic, greedier build out of ByuN. Much more economic, much more greedy. Bold move considering that ByuN does scout the fact that there is no 3rd expansion. True. Behind this, Yakov, he pulls into gas. He's inside that gas geyser. Link speed is on the way. This looks like either early Roach Warren or fast Lair into 2 base Spire. Do we go 2 base Meter or 2 base Roach? Reaper does poke in. The Reaper does, not scout the gases. Barely not. So what's it going to be? Roach Warren, Bailey Nest, or Lair? We're leaning more toward... hello. I was gonna say, and I still was, I was leaning more towards a Spire, more towards a Lair, and then towards a Mutaplay potentially, but no, we're going for the bust. It's gonna be a hidden Bailey Nest here behind the mineral line, and you don't take gases this early on, and you don't get a Bailey Nest this early on unless you mean to use it. It is looking like a Bane bust. Oh boy. Este YoungYakov. As if you recall, we saw something very similar against Hon Mono. True. Did see something similar. Wait, what? It's gonna be an early Bailey Nest into a 450-ish Lair timing? Okay. it's a little bit odd. This tells us that YoungYakov is not going for an all-in. He's droning, and I guess this was just for safety. Maybe the plan was to maybe go for an all-in, and then YoungYakov changed his mind. But this was just a really early gas income, really early Bailey nest, and didn't really lead to much in the end, which is a little bit odd. Again, maybe just hyper safe. Maybe YoungYakov was afraid of potentially like a Hellbat push. Maybe he felt like there was maybe an opening and wanted to be aggressive, but he changed his mind. Regardless, it does deviate away from bailing aggression. Whether it was safe play or a mind being changed, it's hard to really say. As ByuN does back in, pulls away, did spot the 4th expansion at least. Building up into his own upgrades. Remember, he did have a more standard 3rd CC timing. And he's looking for a way in. So far, Yakov is keeping up. No major losses out of our Zerg player. A little scout gets eyes on the 5-rack setup, which is standard coming into the mid game. Nothing crazy. And Yakov, he's going into a much faster infestation pits. Okay, so Yakov, he will skip the Spire, he will skip the Hydra Den and go into the faster pits. Going straight Ling Bane into Ultra Tech is very bold. Usually it is safer to go Roach Ultra instead. So going straight Ling Bane Ultra is just very larva intensive. It's a very fragile army composition. It's quite risky, and we're going straight for that Hive. There it is. 7 minutes. Hive is on the way. Very greedy. Very, very greedy here. We'll see if we can get away with it. Safety infestors would help immensely, but we are skipping infestors for now. No infestors. Marines, they do stuff. Oh no! Jesus. That hurts. My heart, Bappy. Oh my god. Banelings, they connected, but I think it was only one. You can see how low the army is. Like, I think one Baneling connected, and then we quickly picked up. Do have our infestors on the way. Hive is halfway done. So thankfully we have some safety infestors. Burrow as well, let's go. And again, the end goal, the win condition here for YoungYakov should be to build up into ultras. Should be. ByuN is going to move out. I mean, hey, the Hellbats, they trade well. Jesus. Do trade well. Second army here towards the south side. Collapsing on top of the base. So far, better trades. The base is under fire as well. The hatchery may just go down. YoungYakov just gives up on it, but he didn't. He gives up on the base, but he fought for it, and he did lose that fight. He bled out a loading Bane. Better engage here from ByuN. That was a rough trade here for YoungYakov. Rough trades. The Ultra Cavern's almost done. Soon we can start those Ultra upgrades. And that is a big... Oh, God, ByuN, calm down. Bit of a mistake. Almost killing his own tank. But I was going to say here is that's going to be a big power spike, of course, is getting into those ultras early on. And we'll see if he can get there. Can he get there? Can he get to his high-tech ultras? As going to be hitting pre-kindness plating. True. ByuN, he rotates over, once again hitting the 5th base, and he will force a cancel. Oh, Yakov just cannot expand. ByuN losing SCVs, okay. A couple of SCVs get caught. Lings, they collapse on more reinforcements. forcing ByuN back home. At the same time, ByuN drops on the top side, and once again, he'll force another cancel. Oh, that's a kill. Ah, that's a kill, not a cancel. Lings, they try to collapse in. They will take down the tank. A couple of SCV kills as well. I mean, this is an okay run by here, but again, Yakov just cannot expand. That's what the third time we've seen a denial or just a straight up kill. 9 SCV kills. ByuN now claiming a 4th base. The pressure's on YoungYakov. Kindness plating's about to finish. He's got his ultras. How many? 3. 3 ultras and some fungals. Yakov commits in. Nice bailing connections. 1920 SCV is going to be going down. Very nice. Yeah, 20 SCV kills. Despite ByuN denying the 5th base time and time again, it may not matter here. ByuN losing a bunch of workers. Losing a lot of SCVs here. And hey, the ultra count has been retained. We've now built up to 5, soon to be 6 ultras with kindness plating. They're gonna be tanky boys. Yakov, has he done it? Has he done it? Yakov. Yeah, Mine's going up. Oh my god, fungal connects. Yeah, massive fungal. Mine's they do get dragged. Yeah, they get dragged away to major connections as well. And Yakov, he has done it. He's busting into the mineral lines, pushing into the natural, pushing into the 3rd, and pushing into the 4th base as well. Yeah, Bailey's they smash into the mineral line. They chase down the bio. Some brutal connections, planetary falls, and Yakov, he snowballs out of control. He has broken ByuN. Who needs a 5th base, Pappy? The ultras paid off. I was concerned that it was going to be too late. I was concerned that it will take too long to build up into the hive tech upgrades, but no, in the end, Yakov, he got there. It wasn't easy. He did stumble his way to that late game to this position here. It was not easy, but he did make it in the end. Kills the CC, no lift. GG gets called, and YoungYakov, he takes game number 1. Ooh, GG. GG, well played. Yakov, he will take the lead in the series. And as he takes the lead, a big shout in the chat. Thank you so much to Morituri. God, Papi God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. 28 months in a row. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. Do appreciate the support. Do appreciate it. As YoungYakov, it does fight back, does put a point on the board. And that leads us here into game numero 2. No boy. Can he extend that lead? Once again, winding it back, Yakov, he was very greedy when it came to his tech. He went Ling Bane into Hive into Ultras, did make a couple of safety infestors eventually. He got his 2 infestors up and running. He was able to defend and survive long enough for his Ultra deck. I was concerned that he wouldn't be able to, and again, he was taking a lot of losses, but he was able to sustain that. He was able to kind of keep his eye on the prize. Like, sure, I can't get a 5th base, and he's even killing my hatcheries as well, but I will get to my Ultras. I'll get there, I'll get my upgrades up and running, and that's going to be my big kill move. And here we go. We're getting into... Oh. As we are going to be getting into our second game. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the... Oh, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify down in the series. Can he bounce back? It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player himself representing Stony Balls. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. We're getting into game 2 here, and again, YoungYakov, he does have a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can extend that lead. I will say that we are loading into a larger map of the map pool, and typically it is a lot more difficult to break a Terran player on Winter Madness. The 5th base is more open and exposed, and I feel like we should be seeing YoungYakov kind of build up in the same kind of direction. There is a chance though that because we're on a larger map, we could see a faster Spire. We could see I say faster, just Aspire in general. We could see Aspire play, we could see Muta play. That is a possibility here on Winter Madness. We'll see. We shall see. Yeah. We can make it, Pepper. We can make it. Don't forget to stretch. Don't forget to stretch in the chat. Stretch, posture check as well. Posture check. No slouching. No slouching. No. So we're building up into our game. Behind this, it is going to be our own Rax expand. CC first. I was curious. I was like, the gases are being taken together. What's going on? CC first. CC first out of ByuN. We're cutting corners. We did allude to this earlier in the broadcast, talking about potential CC first builds on Mothership. We didn't see that on Mothership, but we're seeing it here on Winter Madness. And again, this goes in line with what we mentioned earlier, how this map does typically favor more turtle heavy and defensive play, and more mid to late game play as well. So ByuN cutting corners early on. Going Marine first as gases were delayed. And behind this we do have a more quote-unquote standard opener out of Yakov. We'll keep an eye on his gas, we'll keep an eye on his tech. We'll keep an eye on him. As we do have a couple of Lings getting across the map. They will nibble away at the natural, but they shouldn't really deal any meaningful damage here. Lings, they poke in, they pull away. Behind this, ByuN getting his own 2 Marine into reactored Hellion. Oh, no add-on swap. 1-1-1. Okay. You have my attention. He may just go single Hellion then into add-on swap, just to be safe. Never mind, he's committing. We'll see if we double down into extra Raxes as well if we go for another add-on swap. There's no like add-on swap here into, say, Tech Lab, into faster Banshee play. Meanwhile, that is a 4-minute lair out of YoungYakov. Sorry, I didn't quite get to point it out, but we did get a much faster gas geyser up and running and gas mining. Second gas is on the way. We're going into a faster lair, and this time this is screaming 2-base Muta. Okay, let's go. I mean, technically, 2 gases could be for, say, a Nidus Worm, and this could be like a Linqueen Nidus all-in, but only if it was 2 gases. Here, we're taking a 3rd and 4th gas geyser. Nah, this is a little more tech-heavy. Much, much more tech-heavy here. Technically, if we were casting Shin or Solar or the Korean Zerg players, I would float the idea of 2-base Hydra, but I don't think I've seen YoungYakov embrace that build before. Just the Korean Zergs. ByuN is moving out, so going for the early medevac drop. Remember, there's no stim, there's no upgrades, but the goal here is to hunt down overlords and apply pressure. As that pressure continues with that liberator. Army meets up, 2-base Spire. As mentioned previously, seeing all those gases screams 2-base Muta. But can Yakov get away with it? So far, ByuN applying pressure. Hellions likewise ready to punish. Going for the Queen. Ooh, barely not. Yeah, the Queen should go down though. No transfuse. Yeah, no transfuse available. Does he get 2 Queens? No shot. Oh my god. Yeah, the Queen does barely waddle away. Nice movement with the Hellions. Oh, Hellions, they do get 1 more Hellion, but alas, ByuN just maintains this position. Yeah, he still takes the fight. Gets a full scout of the main. He sees the gases, the lair, and the Spire as well. ByuN scouts everything. Ay, ay, ay. He sees all, he knows all. Behind this, eBays are on the way for eventual turrets. I mean, that will be another side factor here for the eBays. And again, at least aware that he does need them back at home. He's aware. ByuN does lift. Does lift, does pull away. And likewise, back at home, we do have those safety turrets, mineral lines, and covering the production as well. The Mutas will at least gain map control, and that should at least contain ByuN, and that will allow Yakov to drone, right? To drone, to saturate, to build up the 3 bases, to get a 4th base up and running as well. That is something that Mutas do provide you, even if they don't do much damage across the map. Or at least that is the hope. But ByuN is pushing, he's being proactive. Hoping to catch a meter. There's a first stim. A little bit too quick though. Yeah, a little bit too trigger happy. Quick to stim, but was not able to punish. As ByuN still being active, forcing YoungYakov to respond. Does force a response. ByuN catching a Muta. Not bad. Gets one. Does catch one Mutalisk. Does keep pushing. And back at home, do we have Baneling speed? Okay, we do. We do have a decent chunk of Lings, a decent chunk of Banelings. Only 5 Banelings so far, which is a bit of a concern. And ByuN, he does actually sneak across the map. Yakov, he's getting caught unprepared. And the parents are down. Wintermines are setting up. Muta's coming in from behind. Yakov, he does commit. It does collapse in. Oof. Trying to force friendly fire. Nice spread here by ByuN. Very nice spread. But numbers-wise, can he deal with this many Mutas? There are 14 Mutas here on the map. Second wave is coming in. Wintermines are about to reset. Catching out one of the mines. Let's get one. Ooh, forcing friendly fire. And nice bait there out of YoungYakov. Banelings are off of creep though. Ooh, they do connect. Yeah, Banelings, they still smash in. They clean up all the Marines. And with that, Yakov, he cleans up the entire army. Ay. Wintermines go down, Marines go down, Medivacs to get the hell out of here. We just have some Medivacs to distract while the others get away. But ByuN is hurting. ByuN's in trouble. Took all the Banelings to the face. And now Yakov can drone. Now is the time to drone up. At the moment, the drone count is very, very low for Yakov, down to 62. This would be the time to saturate. But ByuN is still being active. He's still being active on the map. Still being aggressive. It's still very tense here for Yakov. As Yakov now spots the army. More creepers receding. Again, there's barely any creep on the map. Yakov, he has such limited vision. He has a lot of limitations. Collapsing in. So you got a nice kiting here by ByuN. Pulls away from the Banelings. He's just trying to flank. Door production has begun. And ByuN is still maintaining his map presence. Once again, like Yakov, he's barely droned. He's barely droned up. He just hasn't had the freedom for it. Hasn't had the room. It's killing him. Yakov, he needs a good fight soon. Does need a good fight. Again, there's still no creep here either. There's no active tumors. I know the queens went down earlier. Do we have any creeping queens? The answer is no. Yeah, 5 bases, 5 queens. No active tumors. ByuN still rallying across. Shows the mine shot. Does not connect. Oh, but the Thor shots. Yeah, the Thor volleys are brutal. Banelings, they do get some decent connections, but there's still Marines left over. Yeah, there's still Bios, still Marines. ByuN, he stims and he wins. GG gets called, and ByuN ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, Yakov, he had some very nice engagements, really nice fights. It looked like almost weathered the storm and got away with his Muta play, but the reality is that even though he was fighting and even taking better fights than ByuN, he had no economy. He was down in workers, down in economy. He was down to 62 when we had around 65 for ByuN, so plus mules on top of that, bear that in mind. And he never quite saturated his 4th base, never quite got up and running, and with that he was outscaled. Yakov was just outscaled by ByuN, was overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played, but we're still quite close. Like, again, I still do give credit to Yakov for having better fights, better engagements, just no economy and no longevity in that game. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into game number 3. Getting into the 3rd game of the series. Let's go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of a tourmaline, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify. Tying up the series 1-1, it is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player. The blue Zerg player representing Stony Balls, being forced into a tied series. Can they bring it back? It is YoungYakov. Let's go. All right, let's go. We are tied up 1-1. We have a back and forth series here, which is all that I ever asked for. And I'll be honest, we almost saw 2-0. Like, we almost saw YoungYakov take that last game as well. Like, again, I was very impressed with YoungYakov's engagements. It's just a lack of the ability to find room to drone. Because there was just so much aggression going on, he never felt safe to squeeze out like 2, 3, 4, 5 drones at a time. Wasn't quite able to. In the end, he was outscaled, and GG. GG, well played. Yakov was outscaled, and ByuN snowballed out of control. That leads us here into a very small map. Welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is a smaller map of the map pool, shorter rush distance by ground. So we spoke earlier, but aggression is often favored on a map like this, and we do expect to see something a little bit different here. Now, if you remember, I was expecting Roach play on Ruby Rock and was surprised when we did not see that. Once again, as we do get a bit of a pause, and hopefully the game does calm down. Hopefully it does settle down. Again, for those who are curious, the servers on the PTR are limited, as they don't have as wide an array of servers as they do in the base game. So it's at times a little bit less than ideal, but hopefully it does even out.
Game resumed.
This looks like the ping has died down. But we were just getting into the fact that I was surprised to see no Roach play on Ruby Rock. I was surprised, so I'll be surprised if we don't see Roaches here either. But to be fair, we actually haven't seen any Roach play to YoungYakov in this series so far. This would be the map for it, but he might just not enjoy Roach play in ZVT, which is understandable. Like, Raynor's been very vocal about it as well. Like, I'm understandable when it comes to ZVT. Roaches are a very slow composition, or they're a slower style, they're a more defensive style. It doesn't feel as good playing with Roaches than it does with Ling Bane, for example, which is much more flexible, active, and aggressive, and just faster in general. We'll see. We shall see. Just stretching for a moment. As for now, we do have our standard openers. We're just going for our initial Rax expand. Reaper does move out. We'll poke away at the Lings, and so far that is 1 Ling going down. He gets 2. Yeah, 2 Zerglings, likewise forcing a Libra Chamber as well, forcing out a Spore. This is slowly adding up. Shouldn't get any more damage. As Reaper's greedy. Oh no! Oh my god, does leave the Reaper idle. Will take 1 extra shot, but does barely get away and cannot get into the main base. Meanwhile, that is something different on the production tab. That is a second Rax. 3 CC, so 3 CC 2-on-1 out of ByuN, as he has a hidden 3rd command center here on the right hand side as well. So a very economic build, but it leads into a very strong stim timing. Okay, so we have our build of choice here from ByuN. Also, I also just realized as well, like I have to wrestle with this. I just realized that I was pointing out certain timings earlier when it comes to something being early or late, but I just realized that I should be readjusting my expectations when it comes to certain timings because of the slower economy, right? The economy is slower, like in the PTR, so I have to bear that in mind as well. Where like now, like Would I still say that a 4-minute lair is early? It is. It is. Still, yeah, it is still early for sure. You could even argue it's even earlier because it should be later, right? Like it's not true because of the slower economy. But that's something that I have to be a little bit more aware of. Speaking of early, nice catch here on the Reaper. Very early Baneliness here out of YoungYakov. I say very early. It's just not common to see Baneliness first. We did see this earlier, and if you remember, I was calling. I was like, yo, Baneliness is early on. Are we going for a Bane bust? Are we going for an all-in? And then Yakov just took a later lair. We might just see that again here as well. I'm a little bit perplexed by the idea of going into these early Banelings, but it might just be for safety, considering that YoungYakov hasn't really seen much. Ooh. I mean, now he sees all the Raxes, of course. But that does confirm that the Baneliness was not the play here early on. As Yakov is droning. He's droning, is saturating. Yakov has not confirmed the third command center yet. He's not aware necessarily that this is a greedier build. Yeah, this is... Oh, God. 6 Banelings morphing in. This is unnecessary. Very expensive. 6 Banelings to finish. We don't need this against these Marines. But again, Yakov, he doesn't know that there's a third base, so he probably believes it's more committed than it is. Sim is finishing up in 10 seconds. Oh, there's a cancellation. And that's all that ByuN needs to do, right? The ByuN is not pushing onto creep. He doesn't need to. And that's why these Banelings were a waste. Again, Yakov, it looks like he believed it was going to be an all-in. He was ready to receive something that wasn't coming. ByuN just pokes out, denies the base, and pulls away. There's no need to push onto creep. So a very shaky start here from YoungYakov. Very shaky. Behind this, because of the early Baneliness and because of all these Banelings as well, lair is late. The lair is late, the Eva chambers are late as well. All the gas tech is delayed due to this commitment into Banelings. So Yakov is going to have a shakier mid game as a result. Meanwhile, ByuN moving out. Tells me about across the map. Looking to deny the other expansion. Thankfully, Yakov does expand in the center and the top side, not towards the south, but ByuN's still sharking around. Estefanio, bienvenidos, papi, bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. As ByuN does start to step in. So far, just clearing up creep. Denying creep, dropping into the main. We can see this time it's not going to be Ling Bane Muta, it's going to be Ling Bane into Hydra Tech. Okay. Much more robust army. Attempted Baneling run by, gets 3 SCVs. So far, good reactions here by ByuN. Yeah, he reacts well. He's being more active, pushing through the center. Trying to pull YoungYakov apart. Oh, nice target firing. Gets one. There's still no Baneling speed, by the way, because Baneling, the lair was so delayed. You know, so delayed. All the Banelings going to be focused down. No major connections. And ByuN snowballs out of control. He breaks on through. Again, late Baneling speed. Expansion goes down. And ByuN snowballs out of control. He gets not just one base, he gets 14 drones, takes down an entire mineral line. He's going for a second expansion. The second base is also going to fall. Widowmans are coming to reinforce. Collapsing on the Hydra, catches another mineral line, and GG gets called. ByuN, he will take a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, just a messy, shaky start here from YoungYakov, just snowballing out of control and impacting the rest of the game. Yakov, he believed that it was a 2-base all-in, but he was bamboozled. It was caught with his pants down. It was really a greedy build out of ByuN, going for a 3cc opener into later Raxes. As a result, we saw a big overreaction, going into a big commitment to Banelings, into the early Baneliness as well. Meant late lair, late Eva chambers, late upgrades, late Baneling speed. Everything was delayed in favor of that. And we saw that the commitment into Banelings early on wasn't worth it. Did not pay off. It set YoungYakov behind instead. GG. GG, well played. ByuN will take a lead in the series. Now we're getting ready for game number 4. Just catching up with the chat. First game I watched on the PTR, other than Euthermal's upgrade rush. Not an accurate representation. When it comes to how's the new patch, when it comes to the new patch, I mentioned this at the start of the broadcast. I would say right now it's a little bit undercooked. I do think that a lot of the ideas are interesting and are probably a good thing as well. I think a lot of people are lacking the idea of having like a really big patch that like shakes everything up. I don't think there's anything wrong about that, but what I will say is that a lot of the changes that have been proposed are working kind of against their goals, it feels. I think one of the big ones is like the warp gate change. There are some other propositions proposed, like there are things proposed when it comes to how to maybe fix it or how to like maybe adjust it. But the biggest issue that I have with the warp gate change, and you kind of saw it with the Nightmare series as well, is that because of the resources kind of gating warp gate, it does kind of incentivize players to be more defensive and be more turtle heavy and be less active on the map, because there's a bigger commitment to going to warp gate. And I feel like that's working against what the goal of the patch is supposed to be, right? Like I feel like we're supposed to be promoting like more diverse play, but instead specifically Protoss is more incentivized to be more turtle heavy and defensive, which I feel like is a negative thing. For example, another big one when it comes to the economy, which has been talked about to death, is just that because of certain macro mechanics, having a low worker count actually hurts certain races more than others, and it does mean that you can be less aggressive than previously. I know that Lorimbo had a big write-up about that, about how technically Zerg in this patch can be less aggressive than in the previous patch, and less active, and there are less timings available. So I think in general, like there are certain things that now that we've had time to play the PTR, now that we've had time to like test and see things for ourselves, and the community to really like sink their teeth into it, there's certain things that are being revealed about the patch that maybe aren't intended. So I think we're hoping for some of those things to be addressed like soon. I think that is the hope. But for now we are going to be jumping into our fourth game, and spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the red Terran player, himself. We have the South Korean Terran for Shopify, leading the series 2-1. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player. The blue Zerg player himself, representing Stowny Bulls down in the series. But hey, can we force the ace match? It is YoungYakov. Let's go. Let us go. Jesus, as we're staying in gas, we're going for a Roach all-in. So it is going to be an early gas timing or early gas build here by YoungYakov. He will skip link speed, going for the Roach one, going for the early Roach rush, and we'll see if ByuN is able to confirm what is going on. Now ByuN, ooh, CC first. Okay, there's a lot that's lining up here. First things first, ByuN, no SCV Scout, no Reaper Scout either, because this is a larger map of the map pool, similar to Winter Madness or even Celestial Enclave at times. ByuN does cut corners, so he does go CC first, no SCV Scout, not just that, late gases, which means no Reaper Scout either. ByuN is playing blind. ByuN, he is completely blind right now as to anything that's going on, and it's an all-in. So right now, it's looking like a build order win. It's looking like a build order win here from YoungYakov, as Roach is going to be pushing across the map, and because of ByuN's initial build of choice, there is no scouting whatsoever. As a result, ByuN is going to have seconds to respond. He'll have seconds to react, seconds to evacuate his main, seconds to pull the boys, seconds to try to wall up on the main base and get a bunker up and running as well. And because it's merely only seconds to react and respond, I feel like YoungYakov should overwhelm. This should pop off, but we'll see. We'll see. As again, we're getting into our own 1-1 follow-up. Now, it is going to be a 1-1-1, thankfully, not a third CC, so this will help a little bit, as we're going to be fixating on army units and army production, so this is a little bit of a better follow-up here from ByuN. Also, that's not an all-in. Yakov is droning. If he just flooded Lings behind this, I think he just wins. Like, he might still do critical damage, but if he committed to the all-in here, he could pop off. Roach is pushed forward, there's a cancellation. You can see ByuN, he does evacuate the natural base. Bunker is now on the way. Again, you can see this big reaction here by ByuN. He has to pull the boys. ByuN is panicking. Yeah, he does panic. The starport does complete. SCVs are going down. And this should still be enough. Yeah, it should still be enough here. Again, Yakov, he droned behind this instead of link flooding. If he had link flood, then it would have been a stronger all-in. Roaches are going down. Yeah, Roaches are going down, and ByuN, technically he will eventually hold on here, but this is still some critical damage. This could have been game ending though. Again, if Yakov wasn't droning, like this guy, he didn't believe in himself, Pappy. He didn't believe. But if he had just doubled down and committed and just stuck to his guns, that could have been game then and there. But now he's droning, he's saturating. He started droning as he was pushing across the map, so his heart wasn't in it. Now we're taking up, and can ByuN recover? Now, very quickly here, because ByuN didn't go 3cc. It's a rough road to recovery. Like, ByuN is down to 21 SCVs. He doesn't really have many workers, so like his production here is going to be stifled. He's making 2 SCVs at a time. Mules will help. He's going for a Cloak Banshee as a follow-up here. The Banshee has a lot of work to do. As Yakov is supply blocked. True. He is supply blocked. I'd rather have them add new abilities and give race aggressive options than this economy change. I mean, I think we said it earlier, right? Or I say we said it earlier. We've discussed this in the past, where if the economy changes are not achieving what they've set out to do, then just don't do them. But if there's a way to tweak them and make them actually be successful when it comes to increasing like build diversity and changing like the early to mid game, then go through with it, right? But like if through testing we find that isn't the case, then just like abandon that idea, right? But I do agree that like that the patch itself is a little bit tame when it comes to changing certain units, as that's going to be 4 drones going down to the Viking. But I do agree that the patch itself is very tame in that respect and is lacking some teeth, is lacking just a little bit more when it comes to, I feel like it could be more bold, and I feel like people want it to be more bold as well when it comes to buffing certain units, when it comes to increasing like build diversity that way by like, I don't know, like buffing like Ravager Morph time, or adding a little bit more to that kind of angle, right, of approach. It's a patch that's bold in some ways but not so in others, right? But I think more than anything, we're just hoping that there is going to be iteration. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest thing that everyone is hoping for, that I'm hoping for, is that there's going to be iteration with the patch and the PTR. That's all you want. Basically they move in, so far getting 1, 2, 3. Jeez, so we spoke earlier how ByuN has to do damage to come back in this game. He kills 4 drones with the Vikings, he kills 5 drones already here with the Banshees, and he's not done. Getting 5, 6, 7 up to almost 8 drones going down. 7 drones do fall. This is getting out of hand here. Yakov losing that economic lead. At the same time though, mutas have hit the field, right? Mutas have hit the field. Mutas going to be moving out across the map. ByuN does have his mass bio army. Stim is done in a couple of seconds, and ByuN, he might just be able to end the game here and now with his Marines. Remember, there's no bathing speed. There's no bathing speed. We did fixate on purely mutas. Oof. And 1 muta goes down. Mutas, they cannot fight this head on. And what does YoungYakov have to defend? 2 roaches. Oof, 2 roaches to defend, and ByuN, he's done it. He's breaking through. He's no longer got control. He pushes into the mineral line. Drone's going to be going down. Mutas, they cannot touch this, and another muta falls as well. Takes down the muta list. Oof, is denied the queen. Barely denied. But he can just stand and fight. He can stand and fight. He breaks through the lings, breaks through the roaches, and ByuN, this is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. He's running out of bio though. Oh my god. Yakov barely holding, barely surviving. He's holding back. But ByuN is very much so back in this game. He's very much so in this game. As we mentioned earlier, if Yakov just believed in himself, if he had just committed to the cheese, committed to the all-in, then there's a world where we're already in the ace match, right? There's a world where we're already in game 5. But now we've reached this game state where Yakov, he's lost how many drones so far? 13? 13 drones went down. What, 3 mutas? 4 mutas as well. ByuN's still pushing. And that ground army is still lacking. We're still lacking with that ground army. YoungYakov's still limping along. He did just drone. Bathing speed is done. True. Bathing speed is complete. Marines, they get into the mineral line. That's another 5 drones falling. Ay. We just did out on the tank. Hatchery is getting low. And can he get the expansion? Oof. Nice time of the tank. Very nice snipe. Banelings are focused down. One Baneling barely connects, and Yakov barely holds on again. Look how low the hatchery is. The base got so low. But Yakov, he's holding. He's holding on. ByuN is still not done. He's still just rallying across the map. He knows he's so close to breaking Yakov. He's so close. It's only 3 meters. As Yakov is reamassing his Link Bane. Decent Baneling count. But this time there are 2 tanks. The tanks say siege. Ideally, ByuN wants to bait the army within tank range. He wants to bait him in. And Yakov, he has to be so careful not to clump up. Do not clump. Oh. And Marines are distracted by the mutas. More reinforcements on the way. Oh. As we commit. Yeah, the Banelings, they commit in. And massive tank shots on the Banelings. Oh my god, so many Banelings go down. 1 Baneling left. Oh, he connects. Yeah, Baneling connects. And is that barely enough? We have reinforcements coming in. GG gets called, and ByuN, he overwhelms. He snowballs out of control, and ByuN will claim the series 3-1, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, ByuN. He will claim the series. He will claim it. And again, Yakov, he was so close. He was so close to killing ByuN outright as well. As you mentioned, YoungYakov, he was droning as he was pushing his roaches across the map. He chose not to commit to set all in, even though ByuN had no idea what was going on. And sure, he was able to kill 13 SCVs. He was able to cripple the economy in some way. We saw that ByuN's counter damage was brutal. The Landed Viking killed 4 drones. The Banshee Harass killed 7 drones on top of that. In the end, 13 drone kills, and we just kept rallying across the map. Because Yakov went into muta play, mutas are very fragile. Mutas are not built to defend. They're not defensive units. They're so expensive and so fragile. Mutas, they're built to harass across the map, but they never got across the map. They never got across, so ByuN was just hyper aggressive, hyper assertive. And with that, GG, ByuN, he barely broke through, and barely broke Yakov. GG. GG, well played. GG, well played. Congratulations here to ByuN, as he will claim the series. Not an easy one though. It was much closer, much more intense. And as I mentioned, I can see a world where this goes to the ace match. I can see a world where this goes all the way to game 5 as well. And I'm happy to see Yakov improving the way that he has, right? I think a lot of people, I mean, Yakov, he is more around like the mid tier of European players. He's like just behind like Lambo, for example. I want to say like Lambo and Yakov are pretty close in skill, but he's just behind him, and you know, he's slowly like closing that gap, I should say. He's closing that gap, kind of working his way up, and yeah, getting better over time as he has dedicated more time to StarCraft over the past like 6 months. GG, well played. So big shout out to YoungYakov. Has there been any response from the player feedback by Blizzard? I believe no. I don't think there's been any response from Blizzard. I think there are rumors going around that, like some doomer rumors that are like, Blizzard, they're just going to push through the changes anyway. I think that's mainly based off of what happened last year. If you remember last year, specifically the patch at the end of last year, which was the Storm patch, Blizzard, they did make changes to the patch, but they basically made changes and then pushed it live. There was no like change to the PTR, if that makes any sense, where we had the PTR version of the patch, and then they just pushed it live with changes, so there was no time to test that. And I think that was obviously, that left a bad taste in people's mouths, because it was like, what's going on? We didn't even get to like test all these changes that you want to make. So I think a lot of people are concerned that that's going to happen again. And it makes sense, just because like it happened just before this, right? So there could be a trend here with how things are done. But again, I'm hoping that at least we are able to get another wave of like PTR and more changes. Regardless, GG, well played. When it comes to the games that we had here tonight, I will say that again, we had a little bit more 2-base heavy play from YoungYakov and from Zerg players in general. Likewise, ByuN, he did mix up his openers as well. We did not see a Ghost Rush. We saw a Ghost Rush against Solar last week from ByuN. Did not embrace it here. We saw a lot of that from from Hod Mono, by the way. He was an animal with the Ghost Rushes. But outside of that, GG well played. A little bit, I do hope to see a little bit more Protoss this patch, just because there are so many changes to Protoss macro, and I feel like Nightmare was freestyling more than anything when he was playing. So I look forward to tomorrow's PTR tournament to see maybe a little bit more Protoss play, to see kind of like how they're adjusting to said patch as well, and kind of where builds are kind of taking us. What I mean by that is, if you look at our schedule here, we are going to be live in around 11 hours, in around 11 hours time, with what? With the Picasso Cup, which is also on the PTR. Again, shout out to Shino, of course, for winning the random raffle earlier, but bam, there we go. As you can see here, we have our weekly schedule. We just wrapped up with our Tuesday evening broadcast, and Wednesday morning is Picasso Cup, which is also on the PTR. Wednesday evening, we have Kung Fu Cup, we have GSL, the GSL semis and finals rebroadcast Thursday morning, we have the Pondcast, StarCraft Evolution League, Kofajan's Cup, SDO, and STC. Plenty of content throughout the week, and if you want to support this tournament, you can do so via Patreon. Exclamation mark Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis. As you can see, bam, just under, oh, actually, hold on. I had to hide that earlier. There we go. As you can see just under me, you can see our kind of our stretch goals, if you will, for our Patreon. We currently are working towards said next stretch goal to boost the prize pool and to grow our tournament. So if you want to help us out, you can do so via the Patreon to reach our next goal and to eventually reach the upper echelons where we can host monthly finals again. We were hosting monthly finals last year. Hopefully we can get there again this year. So again, it's all done via Patreon. I know there's a lot of Patreons out there. There's a lot of crowdfunding going on at the moment with GSL, with RSL, with Uwu Thermal's League, with Wardy's tournaments, with our tournaments as well. So there's a lot of crowdfunding going on, and of course resources are limited, but we appreciate all the support that we do get, of course, and regardless, we do host our tournaments on a regular weekly basis anyway. And again, our next Tuna Cup is going to be on Sunday. Is going to be this up and coming Sunday. Usually our Tuna Cups are on Sundays. The reason why it wasn't this Sunday past is because of GSL. Remember, GSL finals were on Sunday, and we didn't want to clash with GSL. We were casting GSL, so we couldn't clash with that anyway. So we had to reschedule the Tuna Cup to Tuesday, and then next week back to the regular schedule of Sunday. So Sunday Tuna Cups back. Yay. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. And we're going to be heading off here for the evening. We'll be back tomorrow morning with Pig or So Cup. See you then. See you then. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Likewise, if you want to support us in other ways, you can do so by following us. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, all things Cranky Ducklings. I'm going to go rest my voice because it was an intense cast today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, bye, ciao, hasta luego. See you next time.